Today we talk about how a VTuber was almost raped by another male VTuber. The person next to me is a VTuber called Lily O'Hara. She is a shitposting yandere strawberry cow VTuber. I know she looks like Kelly, but she is not Kelly. She's an indie VTuber. Recently spoke out about how she was almost raped by one of her close friends. The tweet. Lily starts by saying, "Apologies for no streams. I'm not going to stream until I am comfortable and get something off my chest. I will not be disrespected. I'm going to be brave and share my story soon." Lily, the strawberry mootuber, would go on to say, "I'm breaking my silence and I am sharing my story," providing a link to a Google Doc where she details her experience with a male VTuber called Tora Karu. Just a basic TLDR, what happened to Lily was she met up with a male VTuber in real life and she was sexually assaulted. Lily's friends would back her up using their own statements. Yuri would say, "To add my own evidence backing up Lily's claims, these are the DMs I got from Tora the day after Lily confronted him in DMs, and his tweets on his alt account the day of. He tried to pull emotions on me saying how good friends we are. He hasn't spoken to us in months." Akon Sapphire would also provide their experience with Tora Karu, back up Lily's statement. TLDR was, "I was led on by Tora. He openly bragged about being sexual with Lily to me. And I dodged a bullet by not meeting up with him because he openly bragged about how I gave him recorded verbal consent." And now we go through Lily's full statement regarding the situation. Lily would begin by saying, "I never thought I would come out with this. I never thought something like this could happen. But it did. I originally was too scared to say anything. Worries of if anybody would believe me or if I'd been harassed for coming out about this. However, the more I thought about it, the more I knew I had to, because what if somebody else just lets him walk all over them? And what if what happened to me happens to somebody else? I cannot with good conscience not share what happened to me when I know it could help somebody else. This isn't made to cancel or start a witch hunt. This document is made with the intention and hope that this is purely a beware. A warning to anyone who is a mutual, plans to befriend, or is unaware. Maybe if something similar in any way is happening to you, you can notice the signs that I didn't. If you choose to remain Tora's friend, that is your choice and decision, but do not invite me to servers he will be a part of, or collabs he is a part of. I ask for that at least. To rip the band-aid off, stop reading if you don't want to read the details, Tora assaulted me last year during my trip to AXLA in a friend's Airbnb we were staying at. I will now go into detail of my recounting of everything and include screenshots where needed. Before the trip, some context is needed. Tora and I first met my good friend and one of my first VTuber friends on Scar servers. A common run-on joke that evolved as a group of us got closer and closer is that someday we would all meet up together at a convention or place and hang out. About a year later, as time went on, that place was AX 2023. A group of them were going to rent an Airbnb and all hang out. I wanted to go but wasn't sure if I could afford it at the time, and wasn't sure if my parents, I was 20 at the time, and had never traveled alone, would even let me. However, around this time of planning, the Hololive EN concert was announced, and that it would be taking place in LA during the same time as AX. I was originally planning on getting a streaming ticket until a good friend messaged me saying he was able to get 2 tickets, and his other friend also got 2 tickets, so they each had a spare one. And if I was able to fly out, I could go to the concert. I am a massive Hololive fan, if you don't know me, and I begged my parents to help me out and let me go see my Oshis on stage. After all, they saved my life many times. A compromise was met and my aunt was going to come with me, and we would be staying in a hotel room together. But our trips were unique and our own. I was overjoyed to tell my friends I could go, and we were excited after a year we could all finally meet. However, when Tora found this out, he was also excited. But there was something more. It was no secret Tora at one point wanted to be more than friends. However, there were some things that I didn't meet for his dating criteria at the time. The biggest was that he wanted somebody in his own state. While I had thought that ship had sailed, Tora, I guess, when he heard we were going to be in the same area for a while, still wanted to at least get in my pants. The earliest I recounted when going back in our DMs of this starting after it was confirmed I was going to AX. This was in April. That's when the tuned up flirting began and the suggestion of something more. This persisted up till July, when the trip and the concert was. I will now share some screenshots of the things he said. You may be wondering why I was giving in to all this and letting my walls down. And my answer is that I had known him for more than a year. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. He said I had known him for a year. He hadn't done anything so unredeemable and horrifying yet, and I trusted him. Tora, unfortunately, was like my rock when I was coming out of a rough breakup back in December of 2022. I hung out on his server with everyone else, there to cope and take my mind off things, and since he had helped me, I was willing to look past some things he had said and whatnot. I was vulnerable. I guess in a very human way wanted attention that I missed. Tora knew how to press every button and had known me long enough to figure out how to get me even slightly reciprocate. I let my walls and guard down. And around this time, I had even begun catching feelings for him. So when he brought up the topic of having sex at AX, I was scared. But I didn't totally say no. There were some other things that happened as well that made me uncomfortable, that I let slide. For example, he had sent me an unsolicited dick pic, and even more often, he would ask for an audio or for lewd photos of myself. I know I am not the only one he would ask, which makes me sad. He pressured and pushed me into sending those photos sometimes. I would actually send it even though I didn't want to, which I definitely shouldn't have. You can see here, this is a screenshot of the Discord DMs between Tora Karu and Lily. Tora Karu would say, "But like you know, you both do it actually sexy." Lily would say, "I'm not sexy, I'm silly." Tora would say, "I literally want to fuck you so bad, Lily." Lily would say, "But you don't wanna say hi to me in LA, SMH." Which Tora would reply, "That's cause you're being a meanie and wanna peg me." Lily would say I was joking. "I am not into pegging." Tora would say, "OFC, I wanna grab you in LA, bring you to the bathroom, and fuck you, public. I wanna rail you." Lily would respond with a photo of a cat. Lily would continue by saying, "No, I don't think I will. Since you want to act goofy and meet up with all these redacted, you probably bust with you don't need me." Tora Karu would say, "Lamau, Lily, if I could meet you, I fucking would." Lily would say, "ION, wanna hear it? Backtracking MF." Tora would say, "But you live in fucking cold ass YP post state." I don't understand what they're saying at all. Lily would say, "It is not, besides the point. Fuck you." Tora is saying, "Lily, if you were in redacted, I would be at your place, RN, mooching and hugging and kissing you, RN." Lily would respond, "I'm sure you would." There is also a very uncomfortable thing as well I found when rereading our messages. He admitted to masturbating my voice on streams. I know you can't really stop that. People have minds of their own. But I don't want to know you're doing that. It made me feel gross and never want to speak again. I was trying to play a game and have fun, not have some guy, let alone somebody who I thought was my best friend, jack off to my voice on stream. Lily would show her Discord DMs. Tora would say, "Sometimes I'll just listen to your streams and do it, TT, lol." Lily would say, "What?" Tora would say, "Yeah, cause I like your voice." Lily would ask, "Which stream?" Tora would say, "Any of them." I'll be like, me horny. Lily is on. Lily would express her surprise by saying, "What?" Tora would say, "You don't give me much content to work with, so that's the closest I get." Alright, after all the prelude, we finally begin the incident. Lily finally talks about what happened on the trip and what led to her sexual assault and what Tora did to her. The trip and the incident. My first day of the trip, I did not meet Tora. The second day of the trip, however, is when we planned that we would meet up after the Hololive concert and take an Uber together to Scarlet Kingdom /City Airbnb, Gar's server name, and we would hang out there for a bit. However, plans didn't end up entirely that way. And little did I know, that night I would grow to dread. My holo friend and I met up and hung out during the early half of the day before he took us in his car to pick up some other holo friends who were in the same Hololive shitpost server. We all carpooled to the EN pre-show because that's where we were gonna meet another holo friend who ordered a pizza for all of us. I can't remember if it was on the drive there or at the pre-show when I found out Tora and a different VTuber friend of his were also at the pre-show, which was at some large park. When we were in line for the pizza distribution, that's when Tora walked over to us. I think I told him where we were. That is when I saw him. He liked to make fun of it, but I was too scared to hug him. Ultimately, he coerced me into giving him a hug, and I felt a little more at ease. I was nervous not only because of social anxiety and being an introvert, but because I was under the impression him and I were going to do something the following night. We get our pizza, and this is where the meetup picture is taken and tweeted. Also, side note, He was the one who chose the lewd art and thought it would be a funny joke. I don't know what his intentions were at this time, but also something to point out. Right, this is the photo Lily was talking about. And as you can see, basically someone with orange hair doing something to someone with pink hair. I think it's just sex. Yeah, I think they're having sex. Hard to make out from the picture. But yeah, I think that's what's happening. I think it's just the same picture. It's the same picture on both phones, but they're showing different parts of the picture on different phones. That's what's happening. Then we went our separate ways to the venue. After the concert, me and my holo friend are waiting for Tora to come out of the venue. It took a very long time because once you left those gates, security didn't want us to go back in. Eventually, he comes out and I say goodbye to my holo friends. I order an Uber and we begin the walk to the pickup area. This is where things change. Tora tells me we can't do anything because essentially he was talking to this other person who lives in the same state as him, kinda wants to pursue them, they think they are a thing, so it would be technically be okay to do things, but out of respect for them, wouldn't. I wasn't really upset about him, and I wouldn't hook up. I was a bit relieved, to be honest. What I was upset about was the fact he for months led me on and pressured me into doing things, sending things, making it seem like he wanted me just to be tossed out. I feel stupid and used for letting my walls down. I kicked myself for thinking I expected any different from him. After all, it wasn't the first time he had this playboy mentality. He took pride in the fact that he had many feminine people wrapped around his finger. He liked telling them what they wanted to hear. He treated them like objects almost. I was a tool. I was a fool to think he'd treat me any different. I tried to choke back my anger and sadness, and we walked back to the Uber pickup spot. In the Uber, there was a point where our Uber driver asked Tora and I if he could quickly take a piss. Shockingly, he pulled up in a neighborhood and began pissing in some random lawn. When he was out of sight, Tora rested his head on my shoulder, held my hand in the back of the car. I didn't really want him to touch me, but unfortunately, I am a people pleaser and let him. Just said something along the lines of how he was so sorry and hoped I wasn't mad at him. I don't remember my response, but whatever it was probably to get him to lay off it, because I was upset and didn't want to talk about it. I cannot remember if this tweet was before or after he did this, but here's a tweet I made that Tora encouraged, just to prove there was a point in time where the Uber driver was not present. This was the picture Lily mentioned. You can see it's nighttime and the Uber driver is nowhere in sight. After a bit, we finally make it to the Scar City Airbnb. It's fun and Tora gets to meet everyone for the first time. I had already met them the day before when we went to the aquarium. That's when I borrowed my friend Laser's pen lights for the concert. We got there pretty late, as the tweet above shows, and my hotel was over an hour drive away. So the Airbnb gang let us both spend the night. Yoi, Scar's partner, and also a great friend, brings us a spare pillow and blanket. The plan is for us to sleep on each end of the couch. Here is a floor plan to help. Right, so this is the floor plan that Lily drew up to help us understand what's happening. As you can see, this is Laser's room. Laser is one of the friends. He has his own room in the Airbnb. This is the TV, this is the coffee table, and surrounding the coffee table in an L shape is the couch. Lily would sleep on this side of the couch, and Tora would sleep on the second part of the couch. So basically, what Lily is saying, he's going to sleep on the same couch as the man who is about to sexually assault her. So the incident happened on this L-shaped couch. Everyone calls it for the night when I'm laying on my back on one side of the couch. Tora is on his phone from what I remember on the other side. Lasers is awake but in his room with the door closed. However, one thing to note about his room is that the door was shuttered, which means you can see movement through each side. And you could hear quite a bit. After some time of us both being on our phones, I hear Tora asking me if I love him. I am still upset and I do not answer. It feels like a split second afterward I hear shuffling and moving. And the next thing I know, Tora is on top of me. And the way he was on me, I couldn't push him off. I remember in this exact moment I felt fear, upset, and confusion. Tora doesn't stop there though. He kisses me on the cheek and whispers in my ear. I do not remember exactly what he says to me, as I have repressed a lot of the specifics. But what I can say is I did not consent. I did not want him on top of me. I did not want him to kiss my cheek, and I did not want him to get close to me. I wanted to disappear from the moment. I wanted to scream or cry or shove him off, but I was frozen. I couldn't move. Was he going to stop there? I hoped he would. I was pinned, I was helpless. I remember asking him what the fuck he was doing, and luckily, Lasers on the other side of his room heard me, or movement because he came outside of his room. When Tora heard him coming, he practically flew off me. Him doing that shows me that he knew what he had done was wrong. Lasers didn't see or hear everything from what I remember, but he from my memory said he heard movement and wanted to see what was happening. I was too scared or shocked to say anything. Tora ended up changing the subject and brought up how ominous lasers looked in the doorway of his room, because it was the only thing lit around us. This is the photo that Lily provided of lasers checking in on both Lily and Tora. You can see the living room was dark and Lasers' room was shining light into the darkness. Tora would then take a picture of Lasers, which he then also ended up editing to remove both of her heads, because I am also visible in the original photo, showing it to his stream. Nobody knew that photo was taken after Tora assaulted me. Every time I look at it, I get a pit in my stomach. For privacy purposes of this document, I will include the edited version. Lots of scary stuff. The day after, I don't bring it up until I am in an Uber with Lasers and Scar before they get dropped off to the convention center. The next stop is my hotel after that. I don't share all the details, but I essentially thanked Lasers for saving me. After the trip, I am mad at Tora still after the trip. It isn't till I agree and admit I hate him in a playful interaction where I confront him about everything, the leading on, and bring up him getting on top of me, aka the assault. I confronted him on the 30th of July 2023. I don't think sharing the entire confrontation is terribly needed, but essentially he brushes off the assault and thinks I'm more mad that we didn't have sex, and not the emotional manipulation and assault, which I correct him on. He apologizes and says he will be better. If people think I'm lying, I can include the whole first confrontation in an edited version. The thing I want to point out here is that he brushed off and didn't address the assault. I didn't want to cut him off entirely back then because I was still attached because of what he did for me, how he was there for me in a really rough spot. I believed I must have been overreacting and that the assault wasn't that big of a deal. So I made the mistake of letting him silence me. I let him, for the most part, get away with it. I never pushed. And now we return to the current day. It wasn't until in a VC with some friends recounting the AX trip where I mentioned what happened to me in more fuller detail. That is where I learned what happened to me shouldn't have been brushed off or ignored. I was assaulted, full stop. Hearing those words, applying it to what happened to me changed things. It reopened the wound. I began to have nightmares. I began to have the situation play over and over in my mind. And I began to think about what would have happened if I did this, that, said this, that, etc. After a few days of coping with this reality, I realized I couldn't let this slide anymore. I confronted Tora, telling him I was going to cancel our upcoming collab and that I wasn't comfortable even being his friend anymore. I will be showing the whole confrontation this time in full because I think it shows how gross and backhanded his apology is. Lily would provide the DMs from her Discord and it's very long. They had a very long conversation regarding this. I won't look at everything here. Feel free to check out the Google Doc, which Lily has provided on her Twitter. I'll just cover some of it. I'm just gonna summarize it. So for this screenshot, Lily was telling Tora Karu that she couldn't attend the Saturday collab. Tora was trying to figure out what was happening. So for these screenshots, Tora would try to explain away the sexual assault. He would say it was a joke. Apologized, which Lily would say it was definitely not a joke and it was definitely something he did and that he was trying to downplay it. Lily would also say she didn't realize that Tora had made it official with his partner in March, and she would also ask Tora if they knew he was talking about fucking her in a bathroom in LA a month into the relationship. Lily would go on to say, while Tora may have apologized for leading her on, he doubts that Tora has apologized to his partner for cheating. Had she known that was the case, he wouldn't have encouraged such behavior. And now Tora would respond with this giant wall of text, basically what he was trying to say. He was apologizing, making a lot of excuses. Tora would try to apologize again and again and make a lot of excuses, but Lily wasn't having it, felt the apology was not sincere, and rejected any apology he tried to give. It just continues throughout the DMs. Basically, Lily just accusing him of sexually assaulting her, which he did. Tora trying to damage control, making excuses, trying to pacify her, trying to get out of the situation, but it is not working because Lily is not having it. We continue with Lily's statement. Feel free to read the message in full, but the fact he brings up how he was glad I didn't impulsively make a tweet longer is a weird ad. Asking it not to be shared is also a weird ad. Tora also did not keep it between us. I have confirmed proof of him going to other people who are also close to me, telling them that it was all a misunderstanding. Assault is not a misunderstanding. Saying you are sorry you came off that way is not an apology. He couldn't even admit he assaulted me. Didn't say assault once in his messages. I wasn't going to share his story, I really wasn't. But it wasn't until he went around to my friends for damage control did it really spark something within me. He wasn't sorry. He hasn't changed. He doesn't care that he hurt me. He cares that he got caught and the future that it could have for his career. He was willing to throw away all the memories and take advantage of me and my trust. I cannot even begin to formulate how hurt I am by that realization. Well, guess what? I will not be disrespected. I will not sit here and let you silence me. I will not let you go around telling my friends that assault was an misunderstanding. I will no longer be manipulated by you. I will not let you get away with backhanded apologies and crocodile tears. I will no longer defend and turn a blind eye to your horrible habits and words you say about others. No more, I am done. I know this may come as a shock because to many we were really good friends, best friends even. We had a great chemistry on streams. We seemed inseparable. I know both of our communities like to watch us interact. I am sorry to let all of you down. I am sorry if this is disheartening to hear, but it's the truth. I know I am far from a perfectly good person either. However, what happened to me, I believe could have happened to any naive friend who wanted to see the good in a friend who was there for you. I found courage to share this because I know I'm not the only fan person he interacts with, and I do not want you to be blinded by numbers and sweet talk. Please keep yourself safe. I also hope this doesn't start another male VTuber moment. Yes, there are bad male VTubers like there are bad apples in any community. There are plenty of good male VTubers too. Male VTuber saved me. My own words from a bad situation, the assault. And multiple male VTuber friends of mine have rallied and supported me behind the scenes before I even made this document. I could not have done this without them, or any of my friends coming out and supporting me. For so long I believed I was crazy and overreacting. I felt so emotional and seen when they validated me. I will come back to streaming when I can cope with this mess better. I am strong and brave and I will keep moving forward. Thank you for your time. Bye, Lily. Well, that's the end of the document. Lily would continue a story on Twitter by saying, I promise you I hate to drag shit on. I hate to do this in the first place. Second, I can be normal, Leon, loving shit-posting fuck, I will be. I owe it all to you. Lily would also say thank you. Thank you for believing in me. My heart goes out to people now finding courage to share their stories. I know there will be a response, and I am a bit scared. But like I said, all up from here, right? What happened to Lily should not happen to anyone. Sexual assault is not a joke, and hopefully Lily recovers from this situation. Unfortunately for Tora, his situation is not as ideal. Tora would continue the line of thought that he started in his DMs with Lily. He's still trying to damage control. Tora Karu would say, it is bad. I know it is bad. Not everything seems exactly as it seems. I will explain everything. I'll take some time to do it. Unfortunately, no one is having it. Not only have Lily's and Tora's friends come out to back up Lily's statement, many other VTubers and people would say they were disappointed in Tora, with some saying, I never thought you'd do something like this. Being a flirt is not an excuse for the things you've done, how many people you've apparently made uncomfortable. I'm so disappointed in you. Please seek help instead of making excuses to actually take accountability. Next, Hesperia would say, it sounds like you're still making excuses by saying everything is not as it seems. You have the context and the proof is right there. This isn't a he said, she said moment. You assaulted someone, unless the next words out of your mouth are that, very few people want to hear from you. Well would say, interesting edit history on this tweet. From I'll own up my mistakes to not everything is as it seems. Glad I never followed you back after you followed me 6 times in one day. After every reply I gave you, you followed then unfollowed in 1 minute when I didn't. Explains how you got 22k. Serafina would say, out of respect for what you've done to her, you really are truly sorry for what you've done. No post you could ever make will make up for this. Seek help and leave her alone. Every single other woman you forced your sexual advances on. Atenashi Raza would say bad is a bit of an understatement. At best, for your case, this seems like an attempted sexual assault, which really is not that much better. So I'm not sure what is not everything seems exactly as it seems, but I hope for your sake it's more important than assuming responsibility. As you can see, everyone is angry with Tora for obvious reasons. Even Tora's friends are turning their back on him. This is Kyoi, one of the friends who was at the Airbnb that night where the assault happened, and he took Lily's side for obvious reasons. I have no idea how he's going to recover from this, unless he somehow memory holds the incident, but I doubt it's going to be possible. It is sexual assault. No amount of damage control is going to change that fact. If any of you support Lily, go give her some love. She's going to need it after all she's been through. That's the end of the video. This is Rex Nebula, signing out.